Hello, everybody. It's me again, Pastor Walton, coming to you from the Pastor's Corner. Pastor P is for person, A is for and, S is for shepherd, T is for two, O is for opposite, R is for responsibilities. Basically, person and shepherd, two opposite or opposing responsibilities. Now, what we deal with here is basically trying to get everyone to understand balance. Again, like before, there's a genuine, strong, passionate love for the church or for the ministry or for the sheep. Okay, there's also a strong, passionate feeling for the family. Okay, now what has happened basically is that sometimes we don't know how to balance both. And this is what we are kind of here for, just to kind of maybe help you a little bit or give some encouragement or help you to maybe even teach your ministers and everything on how to balance this thing. I think sometimes people feel like they are shortchanging God if they stay at home, or shortchanging God if they don't tend the sheep like they should be. Let me tell you this. Sometimes we work ourselves frantically. We get overwhelmed by responsibilities and overwhelmed by people. Even though this is a calling of God, we have to assess things. We have to make sure we put everything in its proper order. And this is why sometimes it's so difficult for their home life or the personal home life to function properly, because some kind of way we mistake our responsibilities and think that we're not doing our responsibilities with the ministry like we should. And that's why sometimes it's difficult, because ministry, now we have ministries, but actual ministry is a lifestyle, okay? And not how many church services you have per week. Sometimes, I've talked to people and they say, well, the reason I have so many church services is basically to keep people saved, okay? Then so when you're out of church, what happens when some people come up pregnant every 9 months? Evidently, you're not keeping them saved. A lot of times, because we are at church and in church, we kind of expect the brothers or expect the sisters or whatever to be there 5 or 6 days a week like we are. We have services and all kinds of things to basically for the sheep, and we are forgetting about the families. The sheep have families, and let me say this too. A lot of times, because we don't go home, or don't, I'm not going to say want to go home, because we don't go home, we expect the brothers or other people to be there, and the home life basically is void. Okay, so what do we do about that? We have to recognize and to know that there's something here that needs to be taken care of. Our homes, our bodies, okay, our senses, our everything, our emotions got to be taken care of. That's why a lot of times when we go on vacation, I say we, and I was instructed about this a few years ago, and it helped me out, because it says, like, basically when you go on vacation, okay, you use Sundays. You don't, it's like you go and you got to be back by Sunday. Okay, when you got to be back by Sunday, you around about Friday, you start getting in a mode to where I got to study for Sunday. I got to make sure that I'm there for Sunday, and so I started getting some type of mindset to try to basically get prepared, and so I miss out with the family or whatever, because I start coming down from the vacation to prepare for Sunday. Don't you know that if the church cannot run without you not being there, then how effective is your ministry? Sometimes people feel like, well, I got to be there. Okay, I got to be there. It's my ministry. I got to be there. I feel the same way also, but I also know that I need to spend some time with family. And guess what? If you drop dead today, they'll have your funeral, put you in the ground, and your ministry goes on. Okay, somebody would be in the pulpit for you the next Sunday. So God don't necessarily need us. He called us to take care of the sheep. But like I said before, we still have families. God doesn't tell us, husbands, love your wife unless you in ministry, unless you're a pastor. He don't say basically do what you need to do for your children unless you're doing your pastoring. We still have the same type of responsibility to love, to cherish, and to bring our children up in the proper way. We still have that responsibility. We're not supposed to neglect them because we have ministry. And I know people, I talk to pastors a lot, and their wife or their children could be sick or whatever, but they want to make sure the ministry is going. I'm still there. So they leave their wife or the children, the sick wife or their children at home, basically, or bring somebody else in to take care of them. You know, I wonder sometimes that if something happened to us, if we die, whatever, would our family really miss us because we were never there? You know, they get that insurance money and go buy a new house or whatever, but they won't miss you because you were never there. And so this is why the person and the shepherd, we got to understand, we have a responsibility for the sheep, but the sheep belong to God. Okay, they belong to God. He just put me basically over it to basically help lead them in the proper direction. And sometimes it's not just the sheep that needs the attention. It's the person, the people, the family, all that kind of thing. Do you know sometimes because we don't think about our family, we pull our people away from their families. It's like having church all the time. Okay, we don't give them time to relax. We don't give them time to basically enjoy their families or whatever. We want to make sure that we have in church. We got Sunday school. We got morning worship. We got night services. We got all these things, and sometimes families just want to relax because they work all week long, and Saturdays sometimes and Sundays are the only days they get off. But we pile it up with church things and get upset when they don't come back for Sunday night service because they want to be together. These are things that are necessary for the person and for the shepherd. Is there a balance? Do you have a balance there that's going to make sure that everything gets taken care of? That's the whole thing. And I've heard so many times people, say things like, I'll take care of God's business and I let God take care of my family. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. Again, God is not responsible to take care of your family. You are. God's not responsible to take care of your wife or take care of your children. That's your responsibility. And God, again, like I said before, God knew that you were going to be in ministry, okay? He's the one that called you. He didn't call you and tell you to separate yourself from your wife. And I've heard so many times, and you're probably going to hear me say this quite often, I've heard so many times that pastors would say, or people would teach their pastors, if you got a ministry, the people are going to be sacrificed. Your wife, your home life, they're going to be sacrificed. Where did that come from? Okay, if anybody's got to make the sacrifice, it ought to be me. I should not make my family sacrifice because of ministry that God calls me. Something is wrong with that. And I hear it taught all the time by these big name preachers, and I've heard it just recently, the family's going to be sacrificed because of your calling. You are also called to be a husband. You're also called to be a father. You're also called basically to be a neighbor. Do you know sometimes we so sheep-minded, I guess. Our attitudes are messed up. We don't know how to treat people because we are so focused on the ministry or the sheep that we don't even take care of how we deal with regular life. Some people have road rage. Some people don't know how to treat customers or waitresses and things of that nature. It's because our minds are so unbalanced. I had to say it like this. Our minds are so unbalanced that we don't know how to deal with regular life. All we have is everything. We have church. And again, I'm not against church. I believe we need to have church. We need to make sure that our people are covered by our services, by our teachings and things of that nature. I believe that. But if they are only saved when they're in church, then they're not really saved. Okay, again, I love my family. I love my ministry. I love the sheep. I love counseling or whatever. I love dealing with them. I love marriage enrichment. I love our singles classes. I love our brothers classes, our sisters classes, and we try to teach them how to balance their life. But they're not going to balance their life if mine is not balanced. If they don't ever see me opening the door for my wife or treating my wife special, okay, if they don't see me doing that, how are they going to know how to treat their wives? Or they're going to feel like, okay, if the pastor is doing this, then I guess it's okay for me to do this. I don't have to be home. I don't have to necessarily even have to sit with my wife. We don't have to go out. We can eat at home. So these are little things right here that I feel like the balancing is all about. Can we balance? Can we balance the person and the shepherd? That is all we're dealing with. 10 minutes, and my 10 minutes is up. So God bless you. I hope I said something that would help. God bless you, and you have a marvelous day.